All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 20 to Midnight, a very special, our 20th episode of 20 to Midnight. My name is Gabriel Urbina. I am the Dungeon Master.
And my name is Beth Eyre. I play Helena Hailstorm, a human fighter from the Veldrin Empire, and I'm coming to you from London town.
And I am Emma Sherr-Ziarko. I am playing Cal, aka Calistoga Vance, a tiefling sorcerer from Bas-Saranath, where we are now in the story. And I am here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment.
And my name is Mike Schubert. I play Satus and Kurtum, who's a human bard from Kilmoltron, and I am coming from New York City. And though you would think that's the land of rats, we learned before recording that actually New Mexico, the land of enchantment, is actually the land of rats that may or may not have the bubonic plague.
Well, I don't know if it's the rats that have bubonic plague, but
just
apparently,
the people.
Yeah, just every once in a while. I was going off on a rant about how rats are, much maligned and often blamed for the bubonic plague,
Wow,
but
guys,
it wasn't
this
actually
is
them.
wild. I just got an email that Santa Fe just canceled their sponsorship on our show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
The land of enchantment
we actually owe them money now.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think it's in Santa Fe specifically that this happens.
Oh, okay.
But
cool.
Hopefully not in Los Alamos, because we were devising a narrative in our heads about radioactive bubonic plague rats.
Hey.
Yay! Welcome to our stream.
What a place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move right on past that and into what happened last time. And I feel it would only be appropriate. Emma, would you care to do the recap as Jeff, so that we can have the most authentic experience?
Let's see. Okay, dude. So
That's how you know he's cool.
that's how you know he's cool. He says,
Dude.
and friend and my guys. So we
I feel like he's not quite of the generation to help us grok things, but he is adjacent to that mind space.
He is. I was realizing afterwards that this wasn't intentional, but it really was kind of just like Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Dude, maybe not quite that level.
Sure,
He's
sure.
not that cool, but no one can be that cool.
No.
But so let's see, what did happen? I know that Cal disguised herself as Jeff the Cool.
All right.
So basically, I remember we went around. We were like finding out information. We were sleuthing last time, and we were bar hopping. Satus got a little toasted on boot
Blabbered.
Yeah,
Boot
yeah.
juice classic.
Yeah, classic.
Which, by the way, quick sidebar, I did after the stream remember, Boot Juice is, I believe, a background joke in an episode of Z Bashu's animated spellbook, which is a fantastic Dungeons and Dragons themed YouTube series, which I highly recommend everyone watch. #support Z Bashu, they're great. But they are a fantastic animator. They do terrific work on YouTube. So highly recommend that everyone check them out. And I want to fully credit them for Boot Juice, because I afterwards realized that is 100% where I took that from.
Yes. Okay. Great. I had no idea. I feel like you should take over the recap, Gabriel.
All right. Our characters, having sort of arrived at Bas-Saranath and discovered that the sort of very famous long-time museum of magical artifacts and historical objects in the capital city of Sel Doran is going out of business and is auctioning off all of its properties, including a loot that Satus feels sort of innately drawn to, the way that Helena was innately drawn towards kind of the visions that she was having of the Frostwalker back in the Teldorath. You then sort of, through a little bit of just kind of like asking around, you were able to kind of learn a couple of things. There's kind of 4 main up-and-coming mercantile families that are sort of in a game of trying to come out as like the new head respectable family that would presumably be able to kind of like join the ruling council of the nation. And those families are House Rachel, who you already met the leader of. He was the person that kind of rescued you when you were lost at sea. House Belny, House Curdell, and House Selig. You then learned that an ex-employer of Cal's is actually the person that was the head of House Curdell. Since Cal left Bas Aeronath, they had kind of a meteoric rise in what was almost certainly their criminal enterprises that was making them money. Not that anyone cares too much about that here in the Desert Confederacy of Bas Aeronath. But they have recently and very suddenly passed away, leaving sort of control of that business empire to their young daughter. And then House Selig has had sort of, you weren't able to kind of like determine a lot of specifics about it, but they had something where they almost went broke and everyone kind of thought that they were done. And then they had some kind of sudden windfall. Somebody invested in them, somebody did something, and now they seem to be okay again. But all of a sudden, they seem to be doing a lot of business with people outside of Bas Aeronath, rather than kind of people within the nation. And you were even able to determine that a lot of the crates that came from the Solanese ship in the Navy, in the docks, were sort of transported into a warehouse that belongs to House Selig. You then also met a couple of folks at a bar that worked for House Selig, and they seemed dazed and kind of very distant. You, whatchamacallit?
Jeff is what you call it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jeff is what you call it.
Jeff happened. Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff
Cal
happened.
disguised herself as an elf to try to
A
pass
cool elf.
herself off as another person that worked for House Selig, and didn't really get that much additional information out of them. But there was a moment when one of them kind of got intense on Cal, and they sort of went from being sort of in a like dazed kind of distant stupor to all of a sudden really focusing on Cal, and almost being suddenly very keenly aware that somebody was asking around for what was going on. So we'll see about that. Our heroes then, having drunk quite a lot and invited a whole bar to have drinks, which ate up about a third of their money reserves, and having had boot juice, they were like, now's a great time to go break into this warehouse. And Cal and Helena sort of went up the sides of the building and found the window. But before they went in, Cal noticed that the window was tripped with an alarm spell, or was set up with an alarm spell, which you decided not to trip, but maybe go seek a way to dispel it. But as Satus kept guard a couple of floors below, some folks walked by mentioning something about how a little guy sure eats and eats and eats, and just like no matter how much they feed him, he seems to always be hungry. And I think that is where we left it. It's probably like 10 p.m. You're outside this warehouse. What are we doing, folks?
Yeah, I think only other thing of note is we did, Helena's wallet got stolen
Yeah,
and
Rooney.
retrieved.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have a new potential friend that is good at sneaky things that could help us in our sneaky endeavors.
I'm also remembering, as I stand here outside this, in a pre-Jeff moment,
Uh-huh.
when I went to go disguise myself.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
for
there-
you
crime.
stopped a man
I did.
who was getting
I-
mugged from
Yeah.
getting mugged.
And his name, I believe, was Endor Henslow.
Yes, he
And,
gave you a business
um,
card.
He gave me a business
Classic.
card. So there is that. The other thing I'm remembering is that, didn't we find out that Apollo, isn't it Apollo, potentially works at the art auction place? or
Remind me what the path to that was?
so when we went to the auction house, the House of Inspired Minds, we were talking to someone and he mentioned like a Lord Apollo who maybe was there, maybe not.
I'll need to look back at the tape on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you definitely, somebody said Lord Apollo.
Okay.
Somebody said it. In my boot juice addled mind.
state.
Yeah. I'm just sort of pulling these memories out.
Uh-huh. Now I'm like, let me look at my notes.
Okay.
I like switched to a notebook from like in my binder for the Boss Serenade arc.
No.
But yes, continue as I look that up to see what we might have found there. To tell me what you would like to do.
Well,
It's getting late.
It is getting late. We probably want to find somewhere to rest.
That
It's been
sounds
a
pretty
long
good.
Day.
Yeah. I would say we would just look for a place to call it a night in town. I don't know if we know of any or talk to anyone, but I would also imagine we could do a pretty good job of finding a spot to catch some Z's.
Sure. And then we're thinking we'll come back and try the warehouse again tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Potentially after talking to Sneaky Friend.
To Sneaky Friend and or potentially buying a scroll of disarming an alarm.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
And I mean, Cal looks sort of thoughtful for a second, and she goes, "No, never mind. Let's." Cal would probably know of a cheap place to stay in town, right?
Oh yeah. Inns abound.
Inns abound.
You okay, Cal? Because like, at some point, you did mention maybe want to visit your parents while you're here, and we don't have to rush that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but it's really late, and I don't know that I want to show up, with no warning after all this time in the middle of the night. I just want to get some sleep.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we'll
Okay, then let's get some sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're headed to a cheap inn.
Right.
Yeah, it's easy enough to kind of calibrate this for me just like a little bit. Are we talking like cheap hotel room, or are we talking like hostel, like
No, we have
like
standards.
sleeping on the floor?
Yeah, no, we have high standards.
All right. High
Low
standards.
money.
We're looking for
We
a
have very
double
medium
queen
standards.
double queen with a pull-out couch, so we can each have our own bed type of.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that will take a little bit of asking around, or like a little bit of going to a couple places and asking what has space. But around midnight, you find a place that for 3 gold can let you have a place like that for the night.
Cool beans.
Nice.
And so it is now probably midnight. You're settled into your hotel, the totality of which has been thoroughly searched, I imagine, for any
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
intruders or
Yes.
unexpected
Closet,
assailants.
Not making that mistake again.
Wardrobes and what have you.
No
Helena
shadow
is on it.
panthers. Yeah.
But this, by the way, leaves you folks, by my reckoning, with about 5 gold and 50 silver. So you are
All
eating
right,
through your
let's-
supply of gold quite quickly.
Time to do some busking.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Bagpipes. Hooray.
All right.
Buskin' Satus.
Anything you would like to do or talk about, or are we going the fuck to sleep?
I think sleep.
I think GTFS.
Mm-hmm. As we all
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
All right.
I was figuring that out still, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah. It doesn't quite work, but
I know what it is now. Yeah, I got it.
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. As you say to kids when you really want them to go
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly as you had it.
Exactly.
I got it. I got it. Yeah.
Alrighty. Cal, you have your usual retinue of kind of strange, violent, bloody dreams, streets on fire, corpses at your feet, blood on your hands. I imagine by this point it is still horrifying, but it is getting even a little bit passé. Like, it's just kind of like, well,
Yeah.
here I am in another horrible murderscape. Okay, yep, here we are.
At this point, it would be more unsettling if I had a peaceful dream.
Sure. Satus, you find yourself in a variation of the dreams that you were having on the boat as you are getting closer and closer to Bas Serenoth, where you are kind of standing in this library hallway, sort of, these like endless bookcases on either side of you. All the books on it their covers are all black right now, and laid out in front of you on a desk is a parchment that just has on it a question mark.
Ooh, okay. I will ask the parchment a question. I will ask, who are you?
All at once, the books turn white.
Ooh. Okay. Like the covers go from black to white?
Yes.
Okay. I will ask it, are you here to help me?
Nothing else happens.
Okay. Satus will go over and try to grab one of the books, see if anything's like written on the cover, if there's anything inside one of the books.
The cover is blank, but do you open the book itself?
Yes.
You open it and you see that the pages all have the same thing on it, which is a very good illustration of what looks like a very nice brick building, with kind of an ornate entrance. And over the archway of the entrance is a statue of a woman holding a book aloft on her hands. And you see this, and it is sort of a very distinct building. Like, there's kind of a lot of other, like, little things. It has sort of, like, windows that are kind of shaped in a certain way, and there's a little bit of stained glass on it. But the main thing, and the thing that sort of, like, this illustration really sort of centers, is kind of this, like, entrance archway with the statue of a woman holding a book open in her hands. And you stare at that just long enough to get, like, a good grip on it when you wake up to a rooster crowing somewhere around you. And it is now the next day.
Okay. I think upon waking, Satus would relay the stream to Cal and Helena just to let them know, here's what's going on, here's what I saw, etc.
Okay.
Cal and Helena, roll me a d20, please, each of you.
I have a 4.
And I have a 9.
I think that a 9 will just about do it.
Okay. Yes.
Helena, you have no idea what that is.
No, I'd be interested to know what people
But
think.
Cal, you know that this is a building that is here in Sel Doran. It's a building that you have seen around Sunstone Plaza, which is one of the sort of like big central areas of the city, and it is where there is like a lot of the government buildings are around Sunstone Plaza. The sort of like big central bank that like all of the like rich people in town do business with is there. Sort of a lot of the like big fancy shops around Sunstone Plaza. And you know that you have seen this building there. What exactly it is, you can't place. You can't imagine that you would have ever had business anywhere around the buildings there, but you have been through Sunstone Plaza a couple of times, and you remember seeing that building, and you remember that statue.
Okay. I will relay that information.
Interesting. Sunstone Plaza. Okay.
Yeah. It's, not my favorite part of town, but it's we could go check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if our plan is to go to the warehouse tonight to try and sneak around, if we are waiting till nightfall, could be a good thing to do during the day. However, if we wanted to go to the warehouse earlier, that works for me as well.
I think we thought that night would be safer.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be a good thing to work in today along with a little bit of shopping.
I like the sound of that.
5
Me
gold.
too.
5 gold.
Yeah.
Shopping for essential, dispelling things, and busking if necessary.
Okay, fair enough.
Worst case scenario, going to my parents and begging for a little bit of money.
That's generous of you, Cal.
Worst case scenario.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Really would prefer not to have that be the first thing I have to ask my dads for. But anyway, let's head to the Sunstone Plaza? Or what should we do first?
I think Sunstone Plaza sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can get some breakfast along the way.
Okie dokie. In that case, you make your way downstairs at the inn, have a little bit of breakfast in the little kind of like common room area that they have. It isn't anything to write home about. It is the fantasy equivalent of continental breakfast. It is basically glorified bread.
Yay.
But you are able to get some carva juice and some tea and a couple of other things to just kind of like sustain you and get yourself ready to go. Who checked you in? Like, under whose name were you?
Probably mine. I would guess Satus. He's usually the talky boy. I could see him being like, I'll check us in. So that would be my guess.
And you would have given the name Satus and Kurtum? You wouldn't have said...
No, I would have...
I
I would have made it like I would have made it close. So like Steve in Vertum.
Great.
I like Steve being your alter ego.
Yes, yeah. Steve and Jeff.
Yeah, Steve and Jeff.
Very mythological names.
Yeah.
So, as you are heading out the door, you hear from the front desk, "Oi! Oi! Mr. Invertum!" And it's the halfling woman that checked you in last night. Seems to still be there for the morning shift. And as you look over, she'll kind of be like,
I'll be right back, and then I head over.
Got a messenger this morning. Said it was very, very important that I put this specifically in your hands. Here you go. And she'll hand you an envelope that just has on it the name of the inn and then occupants of room 17, which is the room that you're staying in.
Okay, this isn't any... I'm not being subpoenaed, am I? This is,
She goes, I have no idea, but I think that...
Okay, I think you have to tell me I've been served if I'm being served.
I'm not telling you, I'm not... I don't know why I find this so funny.
You have to tell me if you're a cop.
Yeah.
I'm not a breaker, and you're not getting served. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
Okay.
I will open this envelope. But by golly, if this is a trap, I will be so upset.
You're being sued.
Satus takes...
This is outrageous.
Satus takes the envelope and opens it.
Inside the envelope are what look like 3 pieces of glossy blue paper with the letters, the Twilight Requiem, written at the top of them in fancy silver handwriting. It looks to be tickets to some sort of event.
Okay. Do I already know that? Is that the name of the auction, or is it just? Am I okay? I'll just ask the person at the counter. Satus will just be like, "Are you familiar with this Twilight?"
Wow. Oh, Moneybags over here. Yeah. Big fancy carnival. They do it every year. Big show. Magic, acrobats, fancy displays, illusions, the whole works. People give their left hand for one of those tickets.
When is it
Interesting.
happening?
Yeah, where is that in town? Is it somewhere? When do you know the details? I'm sorry, this is new to us.
Oh, yeah. They set up, not too far from the Sundown Eaves. They find sort of like that big open green there. It's a big tent. You can't miss it. Cal, if you are anywhere within hearing range, you know this thing. This is like an institution of Bas Aeronauts. You have never been. This would have been quite an expensive ticket unless you tell me that you spent some time saving, like over a year amount of time saving money to go to this. But it is sort of like a very big, fancy circus in town that is like one of the like big things to do for people that are in the upper money classes or wealthy tourists, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And you see that the tickets are for tonight, the 8 o'clock show.
I think Cal's
Okay.
face like lights up. We could go to the Twilight Requiem.
Okay.
You guys, this is so exciting. I'm trying to keep it cool, but I'm so excited.
I didn't know this was such a thing.
No.
And it's supposed to be so fun. I've never been able to go because you have to these tickets cost a lot of money.
Okay. Do we want to sell one of these tickets on, Stub Bas
Yeah,
Aeronauts Hub?
That is a great idea.
You two could go and I could just have a little, bubble bath night or something.
Yeah.
But regardless, Satus turns to the person at the hotel. You said someone dropped this off. Do you remember what they looked like? Did they give a name? Do we have any idea who left this for us?
Didn't really ask for much. Just looked like a pretty standard mailman type. Carried a big leather duffel bag, black hair, about yay high. She's a halfling, so she stretches out to about the height of an elf. Pointy ears, pale skin. I don't know. He didn't have a shirt that had his name on. He didn't have a name tag or anything on it.
Okay.
Wasn't very much of a
I
uniform.
thought you were gonna say he didn't have a shirt. Just the shirtless mailman.
Look, if you don't want him, I can
No,
give you...
we're gladly.
No.
We are very happy to have them. I was just wondering if we had any information about who was so kind enough to leave them for us, but we're very excited. Thank you for dropping them off and passing them along, and we'll be sure to have a good time.
All right, well, enjoy yourselves then.
Thank you. All right, then I guess we would kind of huddle up and be like, well, we might have evening plans at 8 p.m. tonight, I guess.
Yes, we
Yeah.
might. I mean,
Who do you think brought them for us, though? I mean,
I don't know. Ooh.
it could be a trap.
It could be a trap, but it could
But I
be
really
an invitation.
wanna go.
Yeah, I mean, look, it sounds like it'll be fun. Could be at least an entertaining time. We might make a good connection or two.
Yeah, we might find some circus folk who.
That's true. A particular acrobatic type could be helpful now that you mention
and
it.
Building our team,
We are started. That is fair. Look, we've got pickpockety person maybe, and now we could have
the
acrobat. I do like that a lot.
Potentially.
Yeah, so long as we, get off in time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So step 1, continue on our little plan for the day, then go to this at night, then after that, warehouse.
I guess so.
Sure.
All right. Looks like we got our
Assuming
day
we're
ahead of us.
prepared to go to the warehouse.
Right. Well, we'll see how the rest of our day takes us.
Yeah.
We're still kind of lying low a bit, right? Despite several things we've done that haven't necessarily been lying that low.
I also want to just gently gesture towards, it's now the second day of the week. The auction is on the 6th day of the week. You have time,
Okay.
but you don't necessarily have
We don't have
oodles
time.
and cadoodles of time.
Cool.
Yeah.
But my sweet baby is locked in a warehouse.
They are
Yes,
feeding
yes.
him, though.
That's true. Yeah, that's good. At least he's being fed, which is the way to his heart. Oh no, what if he's forgotten me?
He hasn't. Don't worry.
Okay. let's stick with the plan. But now insert really fun fancy party into the plan.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
All right.
Very good. All right, so it's 9 a.m. The 9th bell of the morning service is just tolling. Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're making our way to this Sunstone Plaza still, right?
Yeah,
to check
that's what
out
I
this
think.
building and
That would be my selection.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie. Yeah, it takes you maybe about an hour to get there from where you were staying. You are now making your way from kind of the, like, medium to low part of the city to sort of, like, you know, one of the fancier, ritzier parts of town. And you sort of eventually get there, and Sunstone Plaza really sort of feels like this oasis in the middle of Bas Serenath. It is sort of like, you know, it's not quite a park. It's not big enough to be a park. It's more of a, like, square, but it is this, like, beautiful verdant square with all these, like, tropical trees and exotic, colorful plants. And surrounding it, you do see the courthouse. You see this, like, beautiful, ornate public library. You see a very, very tall tower that you recognize, Cal, as the Tower of Coin, the sort of main bank in the city. And then, off to the side of that, you see this, slightly less conspicuous when it's surrounded by all these things than it was when it was just on a piece of paper. But you see this beautiful brick building, Satus, with kind of this beautiful entrance and the statue of the woman holding the book, the open book in her hands.
Okay. I would approach the statue and see if I can see anything, you know, Satus can see anything like on the pedestal or on the book itself, just try to figure out what's the deal with the statue.
Yeah, roll me a religion check.
Ooh, okay. So that's a 14 plus 3 for a 17.
Yeah, this is a somewhat unorthodox but pretty slam dunky depiction of the Maven that is kind of in this setting the goddess of knowledge and recorded history and kind of oratory and sort of just kind of anything that has to do with kind of like the keeping and the passing of knowledge is her domain.
Okay. What was her name again?
The Maven. M-A-V-E-N.
Cool.
like
So I think Satus would turn to the other two and say, okay, I thought the statue looked familiar, but now I can confirm this is the Maven.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not surprised that this is the statue I saw, given her deals with oration and storytelling and things that, you know, obviously interest me. So this is all starting to click.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Should we go in here?
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we try to go inside.
As you open the doors, you are greeted with, on the base floor, what looks like a nice library, but then sort of you see on the other side of a set of bookcases a railing on a balcony, and as you look down, it goes down 7 floors, 8 floors, 9 floors into the earth, kind of this like massive library with like various spiral staircases that connect different platforms and different areas of it. And then it also goes up a couple floors into what looks more like administrative office buildings. And you will see this young woman with kind of half-moon spectacles. A young woman, human woman, excuse me, is what I've tried to say. And Emma, what other main physical characteristic does she have that you notice?
She has a streak of white hair.
All right.
Despite being quite young.
Excellent. Just taking a note of that. She will get up from a desk and come over to the three of you and go, "Good morning. Welcome to the Halls of Revelation. How may I help you today?"
Sure. Thank you. We are honestly we're just recommended by someone to check out the Halls of Revelation. We're just kind of wondering don't know if you do any sort of tour or general about, but, we don't know much about the hall, but we'd love to learn more.
We don't do guided tours today. There's one tomorrow at noon. But I mean, I'm very happy to kind of just give you the overview if you would like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And she will give you a version that she has prepared, but I certainly don't off the cuff. That is kind of like, like, this is one of the oldest temples that we have any record of to the Maven. It was established sort of sometime, before Bas-Saranath was Bas-Saranath. It was like many different kingdoms ago, but it has been preserved the entire time. And that has always sort of like stood, even as like the landscape changed, as part of sort of like a tradition of like bookkeeping and oratory and just kind of like keeping recorded history alive. And they do sort of, first of all, like, like they work in tandem with like the Sel Doran Public Library to sort of like provide access to books, and everyone has access to knowledge, but they also sponsor plays and public events, and just kind of like, they also like are, they're patrons to various artists and encourage them to kind of like keep doing things that keep recorded history alive. The sort of current head librarian has been working really hard with like the new dream archivist to kind of, do interpretation of both sort of like established knowledge and sort of the unknown knowledge and sort of things that lie beyond the pale. But it's a lot of sort of like big important work that happens here. But like between head librarian Ilan Silvermoon and dream archivist Daven Mailgren, they've been doing a lot of really great work.
Okay. Fascinating. So I think, she gives this whole spiel, and at least Satus is like, wow, that's not only very impressive, but, just really neat that this is set up for the town. I really appreciate it.
I know, right? Like you wouldn't think that you would find something like this in a town as, sort of cutthroat as Bas-Saranath, but it is important that, you keep these traditions alive. It is important that these things sort of have access to it, and I think that it really keeps us as, forward thinking, even as we sort of keep struggling with kind of like the different parts of living here that can be a little bit on the rough and tumble.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea this was here. I never came here. Whoa.
Well, you've been missing out. For a very low price of a yearly membership of 120 gold, you get access to all of our facilities.
Wow. 120, huh?
Do you have any sort of like trial period or visitor's pass situation?
I mean, I think that just, I don't know that the halls of the goddess of knowledge is the sort of thing that you need to be trialed on. I think that you can just kind of do it. I mean, obviously this is as much a temple as it is a house of knowledge. So, we obviously provide spiritual guidance for free. We provide church services for free. Anyone can speak to sort of any of our clerics or any of our archivists. But if you're interested in sort of using the facilities kind of as more of a library and a center of research, we do sort of ask for a very modest, really yearly donation.
Of course. Can we speak to the dream archivist?
Absolutely. His office is right. I think that he might be in with someone right now. But if you just take a seat in those chairs right there, he should be done with the other person relatively soon, and you should be able to talk to them.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if there's anything else that you need, just let me know.
I think that's all. Thank you.
I don't know if this is a good idea, team. I just get these impulses.
I trust your impulses.
I think it's a good idea. Look, we've all had weird dreams. Why not talk to a dream guy?
Yeah. And, just when I was starting to like the followers of the acolytes of a god, of course they ask for money.
Yeah, so much
Unfortunate.
money.
Yeah. Anyway.
Needless to say, this place, fucking reeks of wealth. There's fancy statues, there's paintings, there's gold inlay and books. It does not look like it needs to have a bake sale on to keep the lights on anytime soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we can just kind of like sneak in and see if anybody notices.
Well, let's talk to the Dream Archivist, and then if we
Okay.
feel like we need to get sneaky, we can get sneaky.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. So, are we just kind of like waiting around while the Dream Archivist finishes up with
Yes,
whoever
let me
they're
just
with?
finish taking a note here, and I will be right with you.
I wonder who he's in with.
I wonder who sent us these tickets.
I have to find out.
Can we inspect the tickets? Is there anything to go on? Anything weird?
Yeah, let me. Roll me investigation checks if you want to do that.
That is I got a natural 1, so that's not ideal.
Way.
Satus, you are suddenly possessed by the certainty that these are 100% fake.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
You're like, look, like the reflection is all wrong. The
Yeah.
hologram is not hologramming the way that it's supposed to.
How do you know?
I got a 3.
They might be fake.
I think you're onto something, Satus. I think you're onto something. If you hold them up to the light, you can't see anything through them.
I got a 9.
Emma, roll me just a straight intelligence check, please.
Just a straight intelligence.
You might notice something with a 9.
Ooh, that's not bad. 16 plus 2 for 18.
All right, so the other 2 are out of their minds. These are very clearly very real
Super
tickets.
real, yeah.
It is very much kind of a like, let the person that has been in Sel Doran a lot of her life tell you about like what is real in Sel Doran or not. And you also know that like this is one of those institutions that has like some real money and therefore some real muscle behind it. So people are a little hesitant to fuck with them. But you also notice you can't tell anything about like there's no like obvious markings on them or things that would say something about where these tickets have been before they came to your possession. But you do notice that your tickets are only labeled as seats 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Which strikes you as odd until you sort of notice that your section is labeled as BX4.
X4?
Those are box seats, baby. Those
BX4.
are not
Very
just
fancy.
expensive tickets, but those are extremely expensive tickets.
Noted.
Holy smokes. Wow. I don't know what I'm going to wear.
Well, we
You
don't have
you can
many...
dust off Elf. You can dust off Jeff the Elf.
He dumps out
From
Jeff the
where,
Elf.
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff the Elf
Fancy
goes to the
threads.
circus.
Hell yeah.
Fancy duds. Yes. Okay, guys. But also, it's 1, 2, and 4. Suggesting someone else has 3.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have to go to find out who gave it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think will prove to be an interesting conversation. I would hope it's someone that is going to help us, but clearly by giving us 1, 2, and 4, they want to be in the middle of it and not necessarily, are just giving these tickets to us out of the goodness of their heart. It does feel intentional.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Could be somebody who wants a favor that we might owe, perhaps.
Could be. It could be Duke Rachel.
Yeah. Or it could, of course, be Admiral Evil.
It could be
a shame.
Admiral Evil.
Roll me a
So
quick
mad.
history check, Emma, with advantage.
Okay. Okay, history. 17.
You never know. People might be eccentric. Duke Rachel may be really, really eccentric. it would be
Yeah.
quite eccentric for someone that is the head of a mercantile house who you owe a favor to be like, oh, I need to talk to these guys. Let me send them an invite to this super expensive thing. Usually, that is the sort of thing that like someone in their house would just find you and be kind of like, hey guys, good news, you are coming with me to talk to Duke Rakeshell right now.
Sure.
This again, anything is possible. This is not how this is done.
Okay.
Like if you were like, you know, Veldrin princes and you were visiting, then it might be something where it's like, oh, let's get together in this like wonderful cultural event and talk about the favor that you owe me. For 3, let's put it out what you would be.
What are you gonna say, Gabriel?
For 3 lowlives, as Duke Rachel would think of you as, this
Sure.
would be quite eccentric.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Okay.
Noted.
Oh
So-
no. So now it feels like it's someone terrible.
Yeah. But it's too tempting. It's too
You just want to
exciting.
go, don't you,
I
Cal?
really want to go.
It's the dino race all over again.
Yeah. No regrets.
Oh yeah, I remember
Hashtag
how
no
Cal
regrets.
really wanted
yeah,
to do the
yeah,
dino
like
race.
it was just me. Yeah.
Okay, point
Yeah,
taken.
I remember how it was Cal that was really gung-ho about doing the dinosaur race.
Yeah. Listen, I just think it could be a trap, but we'll be prepared and we'll go in, you know, with our hackles up and also try to have a really good time. And maybe it's just somebody nice.
It could be. It could be. There's only one way to find out.
Okay, let's go meet this eccentric rich person.
Yep.
At this moment, you hear sort of a click as the door into the office of the Dream Archivist opens. And you see this man start to exit, and you sort of hear as he says, really, thank you. I don't know, like, I didn't know what to think, so I thought that I would come and, like, talk to you and really, this has been very helpful. Thank you. And he turns around and will just kind of, like, gesture at the 3 of you and sort of go, he's free now, thank you for... And he'll turn around and look at you, Cal, and you recognize Endor Henslow, the man that you saved from the mugging yesterday. As he'll go,
Nice.
you, fancy meeting you again.
Yes. Fancy seeing you here. I see you're also a fellow of exquisite taste.
Yes.
Visiting.
I mean, you know how it is. You have weird, portentous dreams. You want to talk to someone to make sure that a piano isn't about to fall on your head or anything of that sort.
Absolutely. I totally understand. Or perhaps be mugged in an alley and saved by a very kind passerby.
Very kind. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it was nice to... sorry. One moment. And he will turn from the 3 of you, and you'll see him muttering something under his breath. And he'll... Do you try to kind of, like, listen to what he's saying? Is this just kind of...
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perception and stealth checks, please, to see how... unless you are
Okay.
telling me that you're doing it, like, rather blatantly. Are you trying to not seem
No,
like you're
we're sneaky.
eavesdropping pretty hard on this guy?
No, I think I'm trying to be slick about it.
All right, so perception and stealth, please.
Okay.
Okay, so I got... or is it just Cal or is it all of us?
All of you.
Okay, I got a 22 for perception. I did get a natural 1
Oh,
for
no.
stealth, though.
Similarly, I got a natural 20 for perception, but a 5 for stealth.
Cool.
14 for perception and 7 for stealth.
Cool. So I think, Helena, you, like, maybe, like, stay in your seat and kind of are listening in a little bit. Cal and Satus are both kind of, like, And then, like, you get up to try to sort of, like, listen discreetly. And you'll hear as this man has a one-sided conversation in a low voice with apparently, like, nothingness, as he sort of goes, yeah, understood. No, it's all accounted for, ma'am. The shipment should come in 3 days' time. It should all be ready for the auction. Yes, Miss Selig, understood. Yes, thank you. And at that point, he will turn around, and he'll turn around a little bit more abruptly than you were expecting, Satus, and he'll bump into you, which will send you bumping backwards, which will then, like, you'll bump into Cal, and he'll just kind of be like, whoa. Sorry about that. Were you just listening to what I'm sorry, who are you? He'll say to Satus.
And I'm sorry, is this the dream guy or the other guy?
This is this is the other guy. This is the guy that was
the other guy.
The
Okay.
dream guy.
Got it.
Yes.
Listen, no, sorry. No, we were just, apologies, waiting to go in. We were going to speak with
I thought you were still talking to us, so I was coming closer to hear you better, but now I wasn't trying to intrude.
Well,
just social awkwardness over anything.
okay. But just try to be careful around these things. I do accounting for a lot of the big mercantile houses in town, and some things I do need to be kind of like trade secrets. So please, if you see someone kind of trying to quietly have a word, just be careful, because other people might be a little bit more brusque about it than I am.
Totally. We didn't know that people had private business conversations in public, but now we know.
Yeah.
It's very new to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're more concerned with, fighting injustice than, market trade secrets.
Right. We do things a little more out in the open.
Yeah.
Roll me a quick insight check, all of you.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this isn't my third natural one of the day.
Whoa.
So that's just gonna be not good.
I got a natural 20, oddly.
Hey! Very, very all or nothing here.
Yeah. I got an 8.
So you say that comment, Satus and Cal, about, like, we're more busy, fighting injustice. And you see sort of like a quick flicker of something in his eye, Satus, and you're kind of like, boom, got him. Roasted. That guy was put in his place. Cal, you sort of see some somewhat inscrutable expression. But Helena, you recognize it for what it is, perhaps because having grown up more surrounded by the royalty of Veldria, it is an expression perhaps that some distant relative of yours exhibited quite a lot around your youth and that you would express, which is the moment when a rich person's eyes go to someone else's clothes and then down to their own clothes, and then they go, well, internally they go, that's why you're dressed the way that you are, and that's why I'm dressed the way that I am.
Oh, wow. Great.
And he'll just sort of go, well, look, I need to go take care of some business. If there's anything else that I can repay the favor for yesterday, anything that I can provide you in the city, please, my address is on the card. Don't hesitate to knock on my door. Whatever you need, please just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And he'll sort of tip his hat and go, and now I'll bid you all a good morning.
And to you too, Mr. Henslow.
Now remember, Cal and Satus, you are both a little bit more on the like, yeah, we put that motherfucker in his place mentality.
Yeah. I think Cal feels very pleased with herself with how that went.
Guys, I don't know about him. He seems very smug and obnoxious.
Oh, okay.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, and like, what is he up to with House Selig?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, well, I have his card, so
Okay.
if we need to, we can go knocking on his door and maybe talk to him about that warehouse and what's going on.
Maybe.
With
I
Selig.
don't know if he's necessarily a friend or not, really.
Well, I did save his life.
Yeah, I know
Or
you
at
did,
least,
Cal, but
at least his coin purse. I mean,
yeah, but not everyone is as decent as you.
it's true.
Anyway.
Thanks, Helena.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
At this point, a new figure will emerge out of the office, and you will see this kind of 7-foot-tall, bald elf with a heavily scarred face. And one more thing that immediately jumps out at you, Beth. What is it?
His eyes are purple, like full-on purple. You kind of look twice to be sure, but they really are. And in the very middle, they're yellow.
Excellent.
Dazzling.
And he'll go, if you care to see the Dream Archivist, I'm free right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you the Dream Archivist?
Yes. David Melgren, at your service.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in. Are you all together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Come on in. Come on in.
Thank you.
This man's office is wild. There's like star charts, there's astrolabes, there's all kinds of, there's like, two walls are just full-on bookshelves, but there's all kinds of strange trinkets and compasses and like globes around, like, you know, there's like different dioramas of things on the ceiling. It is a very sort of like eccentric professor's office. And he will sit down at this like big poofy armchair on the other side of the desk and gesture towards a couple of chairs that he has in front of them. And he'll go, what can the unknown equation of the leadership of the Halls of Revelation do for you today?
We've all three of us had some pretty troubling dreams, and you seem like the best person to discuss those with.
Okay, tell me more. What sorts of dreams?
Well, funnily enough, I actually had a dream about this place here, and then Satus would relay the library, the books, the statue.
Melgren will listen intently and sort of like, the more that you say, the more that he like starts to like lean forward. And when you finish, he will ask a couple of clarifying questions. And then once those are done, he will kind of go, well, there's no certainty in these matters. The archiving of dreams and the interpretation of dreams is a matter of probability and conjecture and ideation, but it's a safe bet to say that the Maven herself has drawn her eye towards you and towards your mind and seems to be guiding you towards some purpose. There are records of divine souls of the Maven having dreams like the ones that you describe, of sort of standing in endless libraries with a question offered to them and then an answer of sorts appearing. If you ever find yourself there, I would encourage you to ask sort of something grander and more metaphysical than who you are talking to. You are talking to one of the powers that be.
Okay.
But just sort of know that the Maven is a goddess that believes in giving people the push they need to discover things on their own, rather than providing an answer. It's a very much kind of a, like, teach a man to fish versus a teach a man how to read the manual that teaches him everything he needs to know about fishing sort of a mentality.
Okay.
So just know that. Have you come to the city for anything in particular? You don't seem to be a local.
Well, funnily enough, we are also here because I had a dream about the I don't know if you've heard of this magical or just impressive loot that is up for auction at the end of the week.
Wouldn't know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would sort of go, the loot of epochs. Yes, I do know about it.
Yeah, so before this dream that I had actually last night about this place, I had a dream about that loot and just, being drawn to it, and kind of been investigating that as well.
He'll sort of tap his fingers for a moment and kind of go, the Maven's setting some interesting people on paths that collide. I would not normally betray this confidence, but you are, I think, literally being guided here by my goddess, and I'm being put in your path to give you this information. The man that was just here before you, he had a dream the last night that he thought was driving him to do something that he didn't want to do. He works for one of the mercantile houses, and it seems that mercantile house is specifically wanting him to free up a large amount of money in his role as an accountant, precisely so that they can bid on this loot.
Okay.
So your paths are drawn together. This is the man that is in charge of House Selig having enough money on hand to be able to do this.
Okay, and he doesn't want to be cooking the books to facilitate it, though he's being pressured to do so.
He thinks that it is not a wise financial move for the family. He thinks that they don't actually have money to be spending it on things like that. He doesn't understand why this object is so valuable. He thinks that there are other ways to secure the house's longevity. He doesn't think that it will actually get them the acumen that they are looking for. And he doesn't understand why this is so pressing. And he's concerned that should things go under, the heads of the house themselves, the family that controls the sort of business empire, they will ultimately be fine. Worst comes to worst, they'll sail away and find new lodging in Amar or Veldria. But if the empire collapses, all of the working people underneath them will no longer have employment, will no longer have income. So he is worried about it on that level.
Okay. Thank you.
At least that's what he says, I feel that sometimes people paint a more charitable version of themselves when they speak to a priest.
Well, let it be known we are painting with the truest brush. We have nothing to hide.
Yeah. I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but I don't care what you think of me.
Fair enough.
All right.
And I'm not the only one having dreams if the two of you want to, talk as well.
I think Helena will opt out, stress that she is delighted to be meeting him and has never met a dream archivist.
Yes, my pleasure, absolutely. If you
It's
have
fascinating.
had other dreams, I would be fascinated to hear them. They don't need to be right now.
Well, okay, sure. So I summarize my dreams relating to the Frostwalker with the wolf and so on, just see what happens.
My lord. It's very rare for someone's... So the three of you are really on something else entirely. You are drawing the eyes of multiple gods and multiple influences as you get close to certain places of interest for the gods. You seem to have been made into an instrument of the Frostwalker, which can be a terrifying prospect, but not all forms of destruction are, as the Frostwalker himself seems to have pointed out, necessarily evil or to be feared.
You sound like a friend of ours.
There's a lot of us end up in similar strange places once we do enough reading of these sorts. It can take a lot of time for a young cleric to overcome the problem of, it's one thing to be worshipping a system that includes a gods like the Maven or like the Coin Maiden. But then once you get into a system that includes gods like the Frostwalker or like, some of the more destructive deities, it takes a while for you to wrap your head around that. Once you kind of realize the place that all the different deities hold in the heavens, you can sometimes end up with some very odd philosophies until you meet other people that have had to wrestle with that. Yeah.
Can imagine.
What about you, young lady that doesn't care what I think of her?
Well, so funny you should mention, death and destruction. And Cal describes the recurring dreams that she's been having of murder and fire and brimstone and mayhem that she's, as far as I can recall, have been having pretty consistently the whole time we've known her.
Yes. Like Gabriel will say yes. You
Okay,
have been
great.
having.
Yeah,
you've been having,
that was Emma asking a question.
You've been having these dreams since before Helena even started having like her first Frostwalker dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he'll kind of nod a little bit and kind of go, and they don't seem to be getting more present or less prevalent when you go near places, farther places. You don't seem to be getting a task from them.
No, it's pretty consistent.
Okay.
I couldn't sleep for about 4 days. We were cursed, and I didn't have them then.
Well, you kind of need
Yeah.
to be in a place where your mind is open to the possibilities of communication with the forces beyond this world in order to be able to really do much about it. So I'm not surprised that you weren't able to talk to them at that point or talk to something.
That makes sense.
I am also
I thought
not
that.
convinced that you actually are talking to a deity. Yours seems a little bit more of a untethered situation. So I wonder if there are perhaps other things in your life or in your mind or in your presence that are making you do that. Or that are making your mind sort of conjure up these images.
Well, I mean, it's been a stressful time. We've been, we've been tasked with some, pretty big quests, and maybe I'm just feeling the anxiety of it all.
Very fair. I could make you some what we call starless tea. They're supposed to guarantee kind of a deep, peaceful, restful slumber. And that is the sort of thing where if it is coming from your mind, that might be enough to quell it. If it is coming from a different place, then you would at least know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be a good way to potentially find out. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I can brew you up a batch, and you can take a thermos of it, drink it before you sleep tonight, and you'll see what it does.
Okay.
Yes. Here, actually, if you could come with me to the temple's cupboards. I don't have the supplies here, and it'll be more than I can carry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can help.
All right. Come this way. Helena, Satus, entertain yourselves. That spindly thing with the orbs and the globes on my desk is really fun to whack around and just kind of see the way that it spins.
Ooh,
Oh,
fantastic.
cool. I love
yeah,
astrolabes.
fun.
You sure you don't need more hands?
No. It'll be all right. Come this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Cal will look back and just like nod, like it's fine. Like, I got this.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
And he will pretty silently just kind of like walk you through a few of the corridors there until you get to a little kitchen area, and then point away into kind of a little cupboard area that they have. And he'll come in and start just kind of like piling some herbs and a tea kettle and a couple of things into like a big pile that he's carrying, and then he'll hand some over to you. And after a beat, he'll sort of go, so I didn't want to say too much in front of your friends because I don't know what they are privy to or what they are not. How long have you known about your connection to one of the deities?
Well, I appreciate your discretion, but they know. At least they know as much as I do, because I kind of died a couple weeks ago, and my, shall we say, patron brought me back.
Mm-hmm.
I've known for a long time since I was a little kid, but I don't know who it is, and I don't know how the power works exactly.
You should
or
be
the connection.
You should be careful, Miss Vance, because the omens that you see in your dreams, those can only come from one of 3 gods. It will either be from the Viper King, the god of darkness and poison. It'll be from the Dark Denizen, the god of lies and hatred. Or it'll be from the Changing Face, god of madness. Those are the only gods whose portfolio is associated with the images that you have seen in your dreams. And they are, unlike the Frostwalker, some of the gods that have unambiguously dark designs for the world. So, I understand that you 3 are on a mission, and I understand that it seems to be of pretty critical importance if both the Maven and the Frostwalker are taking an interest. Be careful and be mindful of where your power comes from. And know that even as you act, things may be acting through you. Just be careful with that.
Well, that's not really what you like to hear, is it?
I'm sorry. Sometimes, when you're a dream archivist, it's all about telling people, that holding 3 kittens in their dreams means that, yes, their wife will in fact deliver a healthy baby next month. And sometimes it means that there are things from your nightmares that are trying to claw their way into the waking world. So, please be careful. And hey, maybe I am completely wrong, and all of this will go away once you drink this tea that I give you tonight.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Sir, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If there's more guidance we can give you, please don't hesitate to knock on our door. And if you would like to learn more about those gods, they are not gods that keep temples in civilized places, but we might be one of the better resources of learning about what they have that you will be able to discover. So just say the word.
I appreciate that. It would be very valuable to us if we could maybe have access to the archives here.
He'll smile and sort of go, very, very simply done for 120 gold.
Really?
One of you. I'll make arrangements so that you can come in. Just don't spread it around, all right?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's not every day that you meet a true divine soul. Allowances can be made.
Yeah. Well, thanks. It's the first time anything good's come out of it for me, so...
Aren't you able to make fire come out of your fingertips?
Well, yeah, but, any sorcerer can do that.
Well, come on. Let's not keep your friends waiting.
Okay.
And I think after that, he brews you a pot of tea while making small talk. He, fills a thermos for you, gives it to you, and goes, anything else that I can do for the 3 of you?
I think you've already done more than enough.
Wonderful.
I have to say, you're my favorite so far. You're my favorite acolyte of a god that I've ever met.
Wonderful.
Don't tell Father Karkat. Don't tell Father Karkat.
Well, come back on Thursday. That's when we do our ritual burning of children. And no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I like you.
We haven't done that for nearly 20 years.
Oh, good.
Also a joke.
That was a joke.
Yeah. I think if there's nothing else that you guys want to ask about here, I think that you can leave his office and a new person will come in. Anything else that you want to do at the Halls of Revelation?
I think that's checking all the boxes.
Cool. In that case,
Yeah.
let's take a quick 5-minute break here. We've run a little bit long
Cool.
there, but I want to just like get through that.
Yeah.
All right, but we will be right back in about 5 minutes, guys. So stay tuned.
Cool.